So now the point is that now let's discuss a little bit about Hadoop. So what I thought is like today probably we can cover the architecture and a little bit of theory, and then you have MapReduce. Now there is a catch here. MapReduce is the default programming framework on top of Hadoop. So if anybody want to analyze the data on top of Hadoop, they use something called MapReduce. Point number one. Now MapReduce came long back, okay, and today there are a lot of ways to analyze the data, not only MapReduce. Now as per your syllabus, the curriculum says teach MapReduce and then some concepts in MapReduce, and I will be doing that. But one other thing is that if you want to learn MapReduce, ideally you should be an expert in Java, because MapReduce programs are written in Java or any other programming language. So you can write in Python and other things, but natively people write MapReduce programs in Java. Now I know that not all of you are familiar with Java and comfortable with Java. So if I talk a lot about Java, it may not make much sense out of you. But then why you are learning MapReduce is to help you in Spark. So next you will be learning something called Spark, right? 16 hours of Spark content will be there. Spark also uses similar concepts as MapReduce. So even though you are not able to understand each and every line of code that I am writing, that's okay. But you need to understand the logic, how it is working. Because Java programs, not everybody will be able to follow and understand and debug. So that is not expected also from you. But if we discuss MapReduce, I write a MapReduce program and we run a MapReduce program, you should be able to understand what is happening inside that, right? Logically, not like syntax wise, line by line wise, right? So once we complete Hadoop architecture, like tomorrow, I will be discussing MapReduce theory and MapReduce programs will be running. And then in the next 8-hour syllabus, we will be completing bit of MapReduce and going to something called Hive, Apache Hive. So Hive is your data warehouse in Hadoop. So that is more of SQL side. So you can understand that point. So now speaking of Hadoop, our architecture is here still. I just changed a little bit, okay? I'll just write it here. The question is when all this happened, right? So a lot of people, so I handle a lot of trainings in Hadoop and Spark. So a lot of people ask me that, okay, so we are learning a completely new technology called Hadoop. And I will say that you are wrong, because Hadoop came in 2005. So almost 13 years now. So it's almost like very old, but for people it is still very new, for those who do not understand Hadoop. So in 2005, this framework called Hadoop was created, okay, long back, right? And there were two guys called Doug Cutting and Mike Cafrilla who created this framework. They took the original idea from Google. So Google was already doing a lot of distributed computing, and Google was dealing with a lot of big data, right? So they published a couple of white papers, and this Doug Cutting and Mike Cafrilla, they took the idea from Google and then created a framework called Hadoop. And later they gave it to Apache as an open source project. So Hadoop is a open source project actually, which means it is with Apache right now. You can download it for free, install it for free. You don't have to pay any money. But if something is really free, you have drawbacks also, right? Correct? For example, you have Android phones. I have an iPhone. I used to use Android phones, but you know the difference, right? The difference is not show off. That is not the difference. The real difference is that Android phone might get a lot of bugs which may not come in an Apple phone. If you have used both, you will understand. The problem is Android is open source, right? And open source means every company will modify according to the requirement. As Samsung phone will have their own Android, right? So accordingly, a lot of bugs may come. The platform may not be so stable as it is. If it is an Apple phone, only Apple produces it, right? And if there is a bug also, if I call Apple or somebody call Apple, they will fix it, because there's only one version of it available, and they know what bugs may come, may not come. So the same story here. Originally it was Apache Hadoop, and even still you can go to the Apache website and download Hadoop. But soon people realize that if they are using Apache Hadoop, it is open source, but if something does not work, something crashes, nobody is there to fix it, because it is open source. And accordingly, a company called Cloudera came. There is a company called Cloudera. You might have probably heard. Cloudera is the first company which created a commercial distribution for Hadoop and related tools. So today you can go to Cloudera and ask them to give you Hadoop. What is the advantage? You will be getting the same Hadoop, almost similar what you find in Apache website. But if you install it and if something is not working, they will fix it. You have a support. Since you are paying money, you get support, just like a vendor, right? So one of the companies which is very popular in the world of big data is Cloudera. So they sell Hadoop, Spark, everything as a bundle, okay? Even your lab actually has Cloudera distribution. The lab we are going to use actually runs a Cloudera distribution. Only thing, they should also provide a free version, and they do it. So if you go to Cloudera, you can download the Cloudera's product for free. You don't have to pay any money, but you will not get support. So what people do, they will buy only with support, right? So if I want to sell Hadoop, I can start a company, I can download from Apache, modify the source code, I can sell it to you guys. But two things, one, I should give a free offer also, no support. Second thing, that is the story with every open source, right? You have Ubuntu Linux, you have Red Hat Linux. What is the difference? Hadoop, and you can download from their product. Cloudera's is not 100% open source, it's a custom product. But you can download it for free from their website and install it on as many machines as you want, but you will not get technical support. So ideally people will not do it, right? Because you need technical support, so you will pay money and get it actually, right? But these are the companies, the Hortonworks and Cloudera as the leading vendors in the big data world. They also provide certification. So if you want to write a certification exam, probably after the Spark class you can try that. Cloudera provides certification exams in the big data world. You can write it and get. There is also one more company called Mapr. To be very fair with you, why still people are trusting all these companies, Microsoft or Apple or Oracle? They get support, right? Something doesn't work, you cannot be able to fix, right? You have to call them and make them fix. So Mapr is the third company which is sort of like popular. This company, if my information is correct, was created by a couple of people who quit Cloudera and Hortonworks, Indians only, right? And they found this company called Mapr. Mapr is very popular these days actually, no? A very, very popular vendor. The highest paid edition is also Mapr. Mapr's architecture is also very different, not like traditional Hadoop architecture, right? So for that reason, like I went to GE, I went to Flipkart, they are all using either Hortonworks or Cloudera. They don't use Mapr much. Apart from this, IBM has their own flavor. It's called Big Insights. Microsoft has their own flavor. That's called HD Insight. HD Insight is there. Amazon has. Every company has an edition of their own Hadoop and big data platform. But most popular ones are Cloudera, Hortonworks, and Mapr. These guys are the most popular ones actually. For a developer, there is not much difference. For example, if you are writing a MapReduce program, it will run the same way on all three platforms. There is not much of a difference. The difference actually is that Hortonworks is totally open source. They sell the same what Apache gives. Cloudera modifies it a bit, and they say that with the modification, Hadoop is more stable. That is their claim. We don't know. It's all marketing gimmick. It is same like buying an Android, Samsung mobile phone and HTC mobile phone. What is the difference? End of the day, internally it is Android. But Samsung will say that our Android is better, more bug-free or something. HTC will say that this phone will never hang. So only HTC or Samsung know what they have done inside the phone. But end of the day, if I download, let's say WhatsApp, it will run on both the phones, right? Because it is Android. So same thing only. It's just a commercial distribution. Same story with Linux. You can buy from Red Hat. There is also one more provider, right? SUSE. Red Hat Linux, SUSE Linux, internally everything is same. If I type an ls command, it will work both ways. Kernel might be slightly different, but end of the day, they are paying open source original Linux only. So same story here, but considering the platforms, Cloudera seems to be more popular, okay, because they got a head start. 2008 they started, right? Long back they started. Hortonworks is also gaining a lot of popularity these days. I have been seeing that. And why you are learning MapReduce? Two reasons. One is migration. A lot of companies will already have a lot of MapReduce programs and they want to go to Spark. So if you want to go, you should know what is MapReduce. Second reason, even for learning Spark, the concepts of MapReduce are important. Spark also was built on the basic idea of MapReduce. So how MapReduce works, how the program runs, these basic concepts, if you can understand, that will help you to learn Spark in a better way. That is the reason we are learning Spark, MapReduce actually. In the enterprise, totally gone. There is nothing called MapReduce. And so always you cannot say that Hadoop is 100% replacement of data warehouse. Okay, it can work as a data warehouse, but performance considerations are there. So sometimes you might need some reports within milliseconds, second, 2 seconds, which probably Hadoop may not be able to do. Hadoop is a batch processing system. It's not real time. So if I have Teradata or what is that, Exadata, Netezza, these guys are really fast. So what companies do, they keep the hot data there. Probably my company has 100 terabyte data. In that, 2 terabyte data I need every day very fast. I'll keep it in Teradata. 98 terabyte I'll dump it in Hadoop. I need it once in a while, and even if it takes some time, it is fine. Okay. Same story with the cloud. So most of the organizations are now deploying everything over Amazon Web Services. So Amazon offers fully managed Hadoop solutions on the cloud. Like you can go to Amazon, ask it, give me a Hadoop cluster. In 10 minutes, you will have fully functional Hadoop solution. Everything installed, up and running, servers, everything. Automation, right? So there they also give you data warehouses. They have something called, there is a solution called Redshift. Redshift is an online cloud-based data warehouse. So Amazon offers Redshift to you if you want hot data to be stored. So like I said, everything cannot be given in one solution. You need cheaper, you need the same speed, everything you have to package in one solution. It may not be possible, right? So like someone was suggesting, right? You can compromise speed either, right? Or real-time access, right? So same like that. So Hadoop is a solution most of the people adopt, but not everything can be guaranteed at the same time. That takes us to the question, what is Hadoop and why this is so popular, or what is the architecture of Hadoop? It's fairly easy to understand actually, because the idea is very simple. I have a single machine. How much amount of data can I store in a single machine? Motherboard, right? Motherboard is who decides. So the motherboard will say, I'll support 10 hard disks, you can have 10 hard disks. So the idea is very simple. So people initially thought, I can use one machine. And when that machine was not sufficient, what they did? External storage, NAS and all, right? Network storage. Probably you guys are not much from storage background. There was something called network attached storage, very, very popular. Have you heard about EMC and all? Company called EMC Square. They survived only because of these things. So you have something called network attached storage, NAS box. You can buy a box, install the box anywhere, and you can dump the data there. So the system can dump and process from there. That is called NAS. So that will support more storage actually, but it is not within the machine. When NAS was not enough, came SAN, storage area network. SANs are even popular these days, okay? So a full room full of hard disk, you get a fiber channel connection. So if I can dump all the hard disk there, I can store as much as I want. But the problem is, even if I'm using a SAN, this gives me unlimited storage, okay? Problem is, it gives me only storage, no processing. If I want to process the data, can one server process all the data in a SAN? No, not possible, right?